tried. This is like very unprofessional. But we tried. Thakurji first. Dandava Pranam, all Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, everyone. Jai. It's not 50%.
It's not even Thakurji.
Jai Dandava Pranam.
Dandava Pranam.
Radhe Radhe. Welcome to Sri Radha Vinod Bihari Mandir, Sri Gopinath Bhavan, Sri Vrindavan Dham. Sri Jagannath Rath Yatra Ki Jai. Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami Ki Jai. Tidiya Tirobha Maha Mahotsava Ki Jai. Sri Shivanand Singh Ki Jai. Tidiya Tirobha Maha Mahotsava Ki Jai. Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Rupananda Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Prem Purushottam Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Radha Manju Ki Jai. Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauri Giti Gucha, Vandeham Shri Guru, Bandeham, Vandeham. Got some beads on here. One second. I can't do it. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavashta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sarvetam Samadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Panam Sahamana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Dinamine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaishta Yuktam Varam Varinyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirasha Namami Ninam Bhakta Shiromanincha Shri Krishna Pada Jagataika Hruti Chaitanya Leela Krita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurava ब्रह्मचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे नमः विष्णुपादाय गौरप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशवयतिनामिने अतीवर्त्यचरित्राय स्वश्रितानञ्च पालिने जीवदुःखे सदरताय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवर्षभारती देवी गणिकाय कृपाभये कृष्ण सम्बन्ध विज्ञान दैने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमाभ्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौर करुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनपालिने रूपानुगविरुद्धाप सिद्धान्त ध्वन्तहारिणे ओ गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भारसम्बोधे तदम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णव सर्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथायते नमः वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतो पङ्गो मम मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमदो श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भे वंशिवततस्थितः कर्षन्देनुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथश्रीस्तु नः वृन्दायै तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं रूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मसफलं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनं हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलं कलो नास्त्येव नास्त्येव गतिरन्यथा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया।
It's page 32, and it starts with Gurudev Kripa Bindu, KRPABINDU. joining us at this Sangha. If you don't have a songbook or you don't have the Gaudiya app, if you keep scrolling down, you'll find that Jiva Pavana Prabhu is always adding the lyrics for us, and always here and there we'll add some nectar. So don't forget to search like a bee for nectar.
Shri Vaishnava Vandana, Vrindavan Vasi Jata, page 36.
Reminds me to tell you about something.
Huh?
Reminds me to tell you about something about this present.
Which one? Vrindavan Vasi Jata.
No. People visited it.
Page 36, Vrndavana Vrindavan Vasi Jata. So we're going to call out for the mercy of Srila Rupa Goswami, because without Rupa Goswami, what would any of us know about any of the inner meanings of any of Radha and Krishna's pastimes, or even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes? He established Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's inner heart's desire within this world, so we will pray to him in the words of Sri Madhav Das, Yang Kali Rupa Sharira Nadharata, page 47, Y-A-N-K-A-L-I, Yang Kali Rupa. Jai Jai Nityananda Rohini Kumar, Vrindavan Das Thakur, Jaya Nityananda, page 64. Dancing. I think we're going to sing Sakhe Kalai Gorumudaram.
Okay.
It's in the Sanskrit section, starting with Sakhe, S-A-K-H-E, page 340.
This one is good.
You see the meaning of the one before that? That's Shashachit Shrutam. Shri Shachinandana Gaur Hari Ki. Just a little bit high, 1 second. Okay. Sri Jagannath Ashtakam Kadachit Kalindi. I hope it's here. Page 300.
Should we do it together and not let this come to?
I want to read the translation first of each verse, and then we sing that verse, and then we do the next verse. So Sri Jagannath Ashtakam, it says it's composed by Sri Shankaracharya, but the bhavs which are present within here are very, very deep and very high. So sometimes Sri Jagannath Dev makes supremely sweet melodious music with his flute within the groves along the banks of Jamuna. Like a bee thirsty for honey, he jubilantly relishes the lotus faces of the gopis. His feet are offered worship by great personalities such as Lakshmi, Shiva, Brahma, Indra and Ganesh. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision. It says chanted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But I don't know who said it's composed by Sri Shankaracharya. The moods in here are the moods of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is very, very deep and very high. Until Mahaprabhu, these moods were not known about before the time of Madhavendra Puripad. It would be very rare. So some of the verses in here, they're definitely the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
We will have to ask Madhukar where he got that, because I've always heard that it was sung by Mahaprabhu, but not composed by
Okay. I think, yes, we will do it together. I'm going to play it in a slightly different chord because I'm not familiar with this chord.
And then we'll stop.
Yep, and then we'll stop and read the next one. In his left hand, he holds a flute. Upon his head, he wears the tail plumes of a peacock, and around his waist is fine silken cloth. From the corners of his eyes, he bestows sidelong glances upon his companions. It is known that his pastimes perpetually take place within the land of Vrindavan. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision. Mujhe sabye Within his palace atop the brilliant golden crest of Nilachal, the blue mountain, he resides with his powerful brother, Baladevji, and their sister Subhadra, who is situated between them. He bestows upon all of the demigods the opportunity to serve him. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision. And his bodily complexion is as beautiful as a bank of blackish rain clouds. He enjoys with Lakshmi and Saraswati, and his face resembles a fully blossomed and spotless lotus. He is worshipped by the foremost of the demigods, and his transcendental glories are sung by the topmost scriptures. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision. Travels along the road, mounted upon his chariot. He is met at every step by throngs of Brahmins who sing his praises. Upon hearing them, he bestows mercy upon them. He is an ocean of mercy and the true friend of all of the worlds. May Jagannath Swami, accompanied by Lakshmi Devi, the daughter of the ocean, kindly enter the pathway of my vision. Param Brahmapidam Ratarudho Gachan Patinimita Bhudeva Pakalai Stuti Pradurbhavam Pratipadam Upakarnya Sadayam Doya Sindhur Bandhu Sakala Jagatam Sindhu Sukaya Jagannath Swami Nayana Patodami Bhavatume. Sri Jagannath Dev is the crest jewel of all manifestations of the Supreme Absolute Truth, and his eyes are like the petals of a fully blossomed blue lotus. He resides at Nilachala, and he places his feet on the head of Anantashesh Nag. Being blissfully immersed in Bhakti Ras, he derives great happiness from embracing the rasa-laden body of Srimati Radhika. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision. Param Brahmapidatu Sanandi Radha Sarasa Bhaktu I do not pray for a kingdom, nor for gold, jewels, wealth, or for a delightful wife as desired by all men. My only prayer is that Sri Jagannath Dev, whose splendid glories are sung at every moment by Shiva, may kindly enter the pathway of my vision. Namaya Chirajam Nakamani Yamibhavam Maya Chiham Ramyam Sakala Janakamyam Varavadhu Sada Kale Kale Prabhaka Bhakti O Master of godly beings, quickly deliver me from this fleeting and meaningless worldly existence. O Lord of the Yadus, kindly purge me of my ocean of sins that has no shore. Aho, it is certain that you bestow your lotus feet upon those who are lowly and devoid of any shelter. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision. Haratvam samsaram dhurvatarasaram surabhate Haratvam apanam devatim aparam yadamapate So this part is not exactly our prayer, but it's still part of this prayer. Jagannathashtakam punyam yapate prayata shuchi sarva papa vishuddhatma Vishnu lokam sagacchati. Vishnu for us, we are praying. It is that Vishnu who pervades the heart of even Krishna himself, the realm of Srimati Radhika. One who carefully recites this sacred Jagannathashtakam upon becoming sinless and pure-hearted will attain entrance into Vishnu Lok. So Shri Jagannath Ashtakam ki jai, Shri Jagannath Dev ki jai. The next kirtan we will start with the name of Radha in the form of Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Can you give me one of those pillows?
Big ones?
No, small, small. You can bring that up now. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaye Tadbhaktaye Namo Namah Ajnanatimiraandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate giring yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times. The dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila, Pravishta Om Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta, Narayan, Goswami Maharaj. In the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam, and to the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila, Pravishta Om Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and my Dandavat Pranam to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today. My Dandavat Pranam. So today for us, here in Vrindavan, we are observing the anniversary, the celebration of Sri Jagannath Ratayatra. Sri Jagannath Ratayatra ki Jai! Also today is the anniversary of the disappearance of Swarup Damodar Goswami and Sri Shivananda Sen. So Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami ki Jai! Sri Shivananda Sen ki Jai! So I'll just speak a little bit about these two divine transcendental personalities first, and then we will come to Ratayatra Katha. It's such a beautiful and powerful and emotional day. So, we see that these two great personalities have disappeared on this day. When Sri Ramananda Rai was asked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is the greatest suffering of this world? Sri Ramananda Rai replied that I know no greater suffering than the separation of the pure devotees of Krishna. Separation from Krishna's devotees, the Vaishnavas. I know no suffering greater than that. When Krishna says, Mad Bhakta Yatra Gayanti Tatra Tishtami Narada. How attractive is the association of Vaishnavas? Krishna said, I don't reside in Vaikuntha. I don't even reside in the hearts of the yogis. But where my devotees are conversing about me, where there is a yatra, today is Ratha Yatra, Mad Yatra Bhakta Gayanti, where my bhaktas are glorifying me, where there's a festival of that going on, where Hari Katha and Hari Kirtan is going on, I reside in that place. How beautiful is the association of Krishna's devotees that Krishna himself also wants to only be in that place. He's so attracted to it. We'll come to that later. So, Sri Ramananda Rai said, I know no greater suffering than this, than the feeling of separation from the dear devotees of Krishna. And Sri Narottam Das Thakur, he prays in that bhajan, Jai Anila Prema Dhana Karuna Prachur, in such a desperate mood of separation from the devotees of Krishna. Although understanding that they are transcendental, still because of mamata and vishramdha seva, intimacy, service with intimacy, that feeling of separation comes. We'll speak a lot more about separation today. How is it possible that even though someone knows that someone is God or the Supreme Lord, still due to intimacy or vishramba, they're feeling such deep separation? This is taking place by the amazing Shakti of the Lord. That somebody who has awareness of the greatness of the Lord can forget that and can be cast into a mood of deep separation. Same with the Vaishnavas. When Sri Guru leaves, what kind of separation do we feel? What to speak of the separation they feel from their own Gurudev? Because they understand this mood. So, Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami, very intimate associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, he knew him when he was also quite young. His name was Purushottam Acharya. And this was before he took sannyas. After taking sannyas, he was known as Swarup Damodar, but he didn't keep a sannyas name and he did not wear sannyas vesh, but he practiced true sannyas, Naishtika Brahmachari. I read this from Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj today. Naishtik Brahmachari means completely absorbed, 100%, 24 hours in Krishna, without any other mundane activity. This is Naishtika, who has Nishta, firm conviction, and never shakes, never falters, never wavers. This is Brahmachari. Brahmachari means who's, like Krishna is known as Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. He's always roaming through the forest, searching for any beautiful gopi. This is Vanachari. But he's also the supreme Brahmachari. He even told the gopis to say this, that Krishna is Pakka, 100% Brahmachari. So, he is Vanachari. Brahmachari means who is always moving within the absorption of Parabrahma Shri Krishna. This is Brahmachari. So this Swarup Damodar Goswami was this kind of Brahmachari, always meditating on the sweet pastimes of Krishna, so much so that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorified him. Although he was in Puri, it may be that he never even came to Vrindavan, but he glorified Swarup Damodar Goswami that you are always in Vrindavan. You are Vishuddha Brajavasi. Means your heart, your mind is always absorbed in the sweet pastimes of Sri Vrindavan Dham. So wherever you are, that place is Vrindavan. That's why it is imperative that when we come to Vrindavan, we take the association of those persons who are actually Anuragi Jananugami, who are Anuragi Jan, who are real Brajavasis whose hearts are overflowing with love and affection for Krishna. Taking shelter of them, then we can see Vrindavan through the medium of our ears as we hear Harikatha from the lips of the pure devotees, versus seeing Vrindavan, the Mayak covering of Vrindavan, in terms of dirt and monkeys and pigs and what have you, but really seeing Vrindavan as the pure devotees are explaining Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is fully saturated within their hearts. So Swarup Damodar Goswami was glorified by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like this. In the later pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Mahaprabhu was experiencing this deep moods of separation of Srimati Radhika for Krishna, while in the Gambhira, he took association of two main personalities, not really many others, only two, Sri Rai Ramananda and Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami. Swarup Damodar Goswami in Krishna Lila is Lalita Saki, and Rai Ramananda in Krishna Lila is Vishaka Saki, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Krishna Lila is Krishna, but he's actually tasting the bhava of Srimati Radhika. So in one sense we can see Mahaprabhu like Srimati Radhika. That's how Jagannath sees him, as Srimati Radhika. So Lalita Saki and Vishaka Saki are the intimate companions of Srimati Radhika. They are members of her Svapaksha. When we talk about the Ashta Sakhi, those gopis are Radhika's own group. Chandravali and her Shaibya and others are in another group of gopis, but Srimati Radhika's own group consists of Lalita, Vishaka, Champaklata, Chitra, Rangadevi, Sudevi, Tungavidya. Right? Did I miss anyone? Oh, I already said. So, Indulekha. There we go. Thank you. So this is her svapaksha. And her svapaksha is also ever increasing to fulfill the transcendental desires of Krishna. So these two personalities were always present with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As Krishna is endeavoring to taste the bhavs of Srimati Radhika, in essence they are guiding her. Like this, like that, making micro adjustments and feeding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, nourishing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with the bhavs that he wanted to experience. As Sri Guru nourishes us with the proper mood and the proper understanding how to come to the point of increasing our taste for service of Krishna, which is our nature. These two personalities were assisting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to taste the moods of Srimati Radhika. So Swarup Damodar Goswami is such an intimate associate of Mahaprabhu. And for us, Lalita Saki is the leader of the group that we pray to enter into. Lalita Saki Gan. In the guidance of Sri Rupa, in the group of Lalita Saki. This is how we will serve Sri Radha and Krishna. So, Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami is this very intimate associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even during the pastimes of Rath Yatra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu engaged Srivas Pandit and Swarup Damodar Goswami by his own mercy to take sides. Srivas Thakur to glorify the moods of the Dwarkavasis and the moods of Lakshmi Devi. Srivas Thakur, and Swarup Damodar Goswami to glorify the moods of Vrindavan and the Brajavasis. And so there was a transcendental debate competition which Mahaprabhu instigated, in which he relished so much. So Swarup Damodar Goswami is always very close to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is said that when Raghunath Das Goswami was placed finally at the feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, immediately he gave Raghunath Das Goswami over to Swarup Damodar Goswami. And at that time Raghunath Das Goswami was known as Swaruper Raghu. Means the Raghunath of Swarup Damodar Goswami, who is always nourishing and helping one to be able to serve Sri Radha and Krishna in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan. So Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami ki jai. Today is also the disappearance day of Sri Shivananda Sen. We have heard of Shivananda Sen. You may have even seen a painting of one devotee getting kicked in the chest by Sri Nityananda Prabhu. But he did not feel at all upset or offended. Shivananda Sen was a Grihastha Vaisnava who was always serving all of the other Vaishnavas. Whenever Nityananda Prabhu and his party were moving here and there, Shivananda Sen would go in advance and he would pay all of the tolls. He would arrange for places for them to stay, for all of the Vaishnavas. He would make all arrangements and serve them in so many ways. It happened once that, due to some difficulty, technical difficulty, Shivananda Sen was delayed in the tolls and also making proper arrangements for Nityananda Prabhu and his associates to stay. So Nityananda Prabhu, although it is said, Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Rai, that he never becomes angry, still he manifested what looked like, what appeared to be, anger, and kicked Shivananda Sen in the chest. That time Shivananda Sen did not think, oh, why is he kicking me? He understood that Nityananda Prabhu is completely transcendental, and that today I have received the greatest fortune by being the recipient of the kick of Nityananda Prabhu. Just like we told before, when Krishna looked at those trees that were stopping him from having fun, right? When his waist was tied to a grinding mortar and that grinding mortar got caught between the two trees, that moment of concentrated, what is that? Immediately freed them from all of their samsara, all of anything that was blocking them from moving forward, all aparad and everything. And they manifested in their original forms and offered so many prayers to Krishna, circumambulated Krishna. In the same way, Nityananda Prabhu, by the mercy of his lotus feet, Ar kabe nitai chandar koruna hoive, sangsarama ashanamor kabe tuchahave. By the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, especially by the directed mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, all samsara will become rendered insignificant. So Shivananda Sen began dancing with joy. He was so happy to be kicked, to be touched by the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu also made some kinds of statements, like, I curse him that his 3 sons will die. Shivananda Sen's wife began to cry, oh my God, what's going to happen, like this. Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaja explained that if a mother tells her son, oh, why don't you just go and die? Because she's saying it out of a heart full of deep affection. And in that chastisement, it is actually for love, because she cares. If someone else says that same thing to her son, she will become like a lioness and attack them. But when she says it, it's out of infinite love and affection. Oh, you should just die. Like that. So Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj said, depending on who is speaking and what their mood is, it can have a completely different meaning. One can be saying that thing out of deep affection, and the other one can be saying the exact same words out of a criticism or even as a curse. Just like I told before, I've seen it so many times, any girl, she sees her friend, another girl who looks very beautiful, and then they kind of pretend to have some jealousy, and they just look at them and go, I hate you. And the other girl becomes so happy, and she thinks I'm so beautiful that she says, I hate you. They understand this because of the nature, the depth of their relationship. So Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj explains that these 3 sons did not die. Nityananda Prabhu is only expressing some affection like this in a crooked way. And what is the proof? They received the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when they went to Sri Rangam in South India. There Mahaprabhu made sure that they had a place to stay and instructed that his own Mahaprasad remnant should be given to these sons every day. So this is the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Also, we've heard of Shivananda saying that he had a dog. And we've also heard that Krishna had dogs. Traditionally in Vedic culture, one would never keep a dog in their house, but dogs may hang out in their courtyard, and dogs naturally bond to whoever is giving them sustenance. They have very loyal mood. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings about this in the bhajan Sarvasva Tomar Charani Sampya. Ore chito mar ghare, tum to Thakur tomar kukur, boliya jano humari. You are my master and I am like your dog. This kind of loyalty we should develop for Guru and then for Krishna. Or Srimati Radhika. So, Shivananda Sen also had one of these kind of dogs who was following his party. And everyone saw that this dog was following the Sankirtan party. And then, one day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took some remnants of his Mahaprasad and threw. And that dog took that Mahaprasad, and then afterward, no one saw the dog again. And it was understood that by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that dog was given transcendental liberation. So just by associating with the pure devotee, by associating with Shivananda Sen, then he was able to receive the mercy of all of the Vaishnavas and eventually Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then he was given liberation. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, Kita Janmaha Jatatu Adas Bahir Mukha Brahma Nahi Mora Ash. He said, I have no desire to become even Brahma, if that Brahma is averse to you, my Lord. But let me take birth in the home of your devotee, even if I have to come as a germ, kita, as a worm. Kita janmaha jatatu adas. Let me be your servant. Let me be in the association of your devotees. This is the prayer of the devotee. Why? Because bhakti, the birth of bhakti, Krishna bhakti, janmamul, the root cause of that is the association of Krishna's devotees. This brings greed, which is necessary for awakening Krishna bhakti in our heart. And even after the attainment of perfection, Krishna prema, still the association of Krishna's devotees is the most essential thing. So, Shri Shivananda Sen ki jai. Now we are coming to Ratha Yatra. There are so many different histories mentioned in the scriptures, so many different histories mentioned in the Puranas and other places. So many of you may be familiar What is the function? What is the purpose? What happens? The Supreme Court in India this year banned Ratha Yatra 3 days before it was supposed to happen. There was a massive petitions that went out all over India and the world, and everyone was signing. At least it should be allowed to go on. Maybe everyone from around India cannot come, but still, Krishna, Jagannath, should be allowed to perform his pastime. So, finally, the very powerful Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister Modi, Narendra Modi, he actually declared that it should go on. And somehow the Supreme Court adjusted their approach, and so we can see today clearly that in the videos Jagannath was allowed to come out, and only his associates, the Dayitas, those who are very dear to him, were pulling him from Jagannath Mandir to Sri Gundicha Mandir. But still, the festival is taking place, and I think that is wonderful. So, who is Jagannath? How did Jagannath appear? What is the purpose of this Ratha Yatra festival? Is it for us to pull ropes and to sing and then to have nice food and nice rock and roll concerts? Is that the purpose of this festival? No. This festival is very, very deep, and it is so intricately linked to the moods of the Brajabasis and the hearts of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas coming in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there are many histories. I'll tell a couple first, and then I will come to the ones which really apply to the Gaudiya Vaishnavas more deeply. There's one history about how Jagannath came to be manifested. And actually this history follows the other history, technically, but I'm going to tell it first. So there was one king, his name was Indradumna. This was in Satya Yuga. His queen's name was Gundicha. And this king Indradumna had heard about the glories of a very beautiful deity of the Lord named Nila Madhava. Hearing about the glories and the beauty of this form of the Lord, he developed such a greed to see the Lord that he decided he needed and wanted to go see him. But it was some kind of secret. When he woke up in the morning and he wanted to ask those persons who were speaking about Nila Madhav where he is and how he can attain darshan, they had already departed. And he became completely distraught. I need to find Nila Madhav, I need to find Nila Madhav. He became obsessed in wanting to see this beautiful form of the Lord. So he sent so many of his associates in all different directions, north, south, east, and west. And one of them was a very beautiful, handsome, and qualified young Brahmin Pandit. His name was Vidyapati. So this one went east, Vidyapati, searching everywhere for a long time. After many months, finally he came upon one village. There were so many parties, they were searching everywhere, and no one could find this Nila Madhav. But finally he came upon one beautiful village. And this village had a beautiful mountain full of flowers, very ideal. And in this village there were so many personalities who had so much devotion for the Lord. And they all pointed, he needed a place to stay, they pointed him to one house, the house of, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now. If you can write it down, I'll appreciate it. Do you remember his name?
No.
Sorry. And I've known this story my whole life, and I forgot at this moment. I even read it today. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Matak smritir jnanam apohanam cha. I am remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So, thank you. Something Vasu, something. We'll just call him Vasu.
Vichitri, Vasu.
Vishva Vasu. Thank you, Vichitra. Thank you, Vishva Vasu.
Vichitri Didi ki
Jai.
jai.
So Vishva Vasu. He was glorified by all as being a very great devotee. Although he was in, I think, Shudra caste, still everyone respected him as a great devotee, and he would honor all Vaishnavas. And he was a great servitor of the Lord. So this Vishvavasu, he had one very beautiful daughter. Her name was Lalita. And this Vidyapati went to the house of Vishvavasu and knocked on the door. That time Vishvavasu was not present, but Lalita opened the door. That time she was 16 years old and extremely beautiful. So, traditionally, any lady would not allow any man into her house, which she did not. She asked him to wait until her father came home. And that time, people were also very respectful and dignified. He waited outside until Vishvavasu returned. Then when Vishvavasu returned, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry I was late." He brought him inside and he asked his daughter that you should serve him in every way. You should make sure he is satisfied.
It smelled really beautiful.
Vidyapati immediately noticed that there was such an amazing fragrance emanating from this Vishvavasu. And it was completely captivating his mind. What is this fragrance coming from? Every day this Vishvavasu would leave the house and go for a long time and then come back and he would smell so fragrant, so amazing. So Vidyapati began to really become more concerned. Where is this coming from? And he began to ask questions. After some time, because he was being served so nicely by this Lalita, she became attached to him and he became attached to her. This is the nature of service. Tadati pratigunati guhyamakyati prachiti.
Butter and fire.
Still, through seva, attachment develops. So, attachment developed over time. And then they approached Vishvavasu and told that we would like to be married. And Vishvavasu agreed. Although Vidyapati already had another wife, a Brahmin wife in Puri, still, he got married to Lalita. At that time, it was considered okay in Vedic culture to have more than one wife. And we know that Draupadi had more than one husband, but generally, more than one wife was considered okay. Especially the kings and Krishna. 16,108. Dasharatha Maharaj had so many. So, coming back to the point. Vishvavasu married this Lalita. After some time, he began to inquire from her and she said, "I'm not allowed to say anything. My father told me not to say anything. I can't say anything." And then he started saying, "But we're two halves of the same whole. Now that we're married, how can you hide anything from me? You're my wife. You're my other half. It's not right of you to hide something from me." And as anyone who's married knows, it's not nice when your partner is hiding something from you. So gradually, she accepted his position. Gurudev said that he began to really lather her with so much love and affection that she was willing to do anything for him. So one day she went to her father and asked him, sat on his lap, and said to her father, "Oh," she was so sweet to her father, "Please, my husband would like to go with you to the temple to see Nilamadhava. Will you take him with you? I told him some things." And her father was becoming a little bit uncertain. And then she said, "You know, if you don't let him go, if you don't bring him with you, then I will give up my life right here and right now." And Srila Gurudev said, this is the secret power of a woman. If she threatens suicide, a man will do anything for her. So Gurudev has said this on many occasions. In this case, she told her father, "I will give up my life right now. I will take poison. I'm prepared to do it now in front of you." And her father's heart melted and broke. He said, "Okay, but in one condition. If I take him, he must be blindfolded with a black blindfold. There and back, I will remove the blindfold so he can see Thakurji, but he cannot see the direction there or back. I don't want anyone to take this deity or take my seva." So Lalita knew something interesting. Okay, here she gave some mustard seeds to her husband, Vidyapati, and said, "As you are going, periodically drop mustard seeds. It's the rainy season, so after some time they will grow, and then you will see a beautiful path of gold and yellow flowers. It will be very easy for you to go there again." So Vidyapati went, completely blindfolded with Vishvavasu, to Nilamadhava. There, once they arrived, then they removed the blindfold and he saw the beautiful form, four-armed form of this Nilamadhava. So sweet, so beautiful. And his heart became completely charmed. The whole day Vishvavasu was worshipping, offering so many prayers and so many articles, so many sweet fragrances and flowers to Nilamadhava. And seeing this, Vidyapati became so happy. Then just nearby he saw there's one lake, and in that lake he saw there's so many beautiful flowers around and one mango tree leaning over, and there was a black crow on that. The black crow was asleep, and he fell into the lake, and immediately he saw that crow manifested, well, the soul of the crow manifested 4 arms. Garuda came in, took that 4-arm form and brought him to Vaikuntha. And that moment he was thinking, my God, why waste any time? I should just jump into this lake myself and it's done. But just as he was about to jump in, what happened? A voice from the sky came, the Supreme Lord telling him, it is not your time yet, you have so much service to do, so don't give up your life. You have so many things to do. So then, it was the end of the day. Vishvavasu bound him again, his eyes, so he could not see, and they went back. After some time, then Vidyapati needed to return to Puri. When he finally returned, Indradumna had been very, very desperate and eager to see him because he was gone for a very long, long time. So when King Indradumna heard and saw Vidyapati, he was so happy, so happy. And Vidyapati revealed to him everything he had seen. So that moment, Indradumna decided, I'm going to bring all of my kingdom, my queen, my wealth and everything, and we're going to go to where that deity is. We will collect him and we will worship him. And this Nilamadhav had also spoken to Vishvavasu in his dream that now I want to be worshipped by Indradumna in a very grand fashion. But Vishvavasu did not like this idea. He did not want to be separated from his Lord. So he was very, very concerned and very afraid. So he didn't reveal this to anyone. By the time Indradumna came to that place, it is said that the whole place had been covered over and he could not find the deity. Sand had completely buried that village and everything, and he couldn't find the deity anywhere. So he became completely desperate, decided to fast until his death, unless he has darshan of the Lord. So Indradumna received a voice from the sky message. This was the time when voices from the sky were more popular, more frequent. He received a voice, Satyuga, that you should come with Brahma. You will not see me in this earth. You will come with Brahma to the heavenly planets, and there you will see me, and you will hear the discussion of my devotees. So he went with Lord Brahma to the heavenly planets. And there he was able to see the beautiful form of Nilamadhav. But Nilamadhav said, I will not manifest in this earth for you again. So at that time, after some time, he came back. But he was there for quite a long time. See, time is different there than here. You spend 1 or 2 moments there, hundreds of thousands of years go past here. So finally he came back, and he was told that I will not manifest, but I will manifest in a different form. You should wait at Chakratirtha in Puri, and there a very special log will float, will manifest in front of you. Reddish with all of the symbols of Vishnu, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, Kanchal, this club and lotus flower. And from this form, from this log, you should carve forms. Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Siddharshan, Chakra. So Indradumna was waiting very eagerly. Finally, this log one day floated up, and it had all of the signs, but no one could lift it, no one could pull it out. Even with elephants and thousands of men, they could not lift it. So the Lord had instructed him that if Vidyapati and Vishvavasu, they were all still alive and present on this world at that time, were to lift and pull this log out and place it on the proper vehicle, that then it can be carved. So Indradumna Maharaj arranged for that, and then something happened. He brought this log into the inner chambers, and a special carpenter, sometimes we've heard it as Vishvakarma, sometimes we've heard from Shastra that it's actually a non-different form of the Lord himself, came. No one was able to chisel that with any tools, it was too hard. But one empowered personality came and was able to chisel that log. Except there was a special requirement. Do not disturb me. For 21 days, do not open the doors shall remain locked, If you open the doors, immediately all work will stop and no further work will go on. So what happened? After 14 days, not a sound. Nothing. All sound stopped and everyone thought, what happened? Maybe something happened to the Brahmin who's carving? And so he was advised he was saying, no, we should follow. He said, don't open it under any circumstance. He won't be ready for 21 days. But they said, but what if he dies and will be guilty of Brahmahatya, killing a Brahmin? So all of the advisors said, no, we should open the doors. So they engaged the carpenters of breaking down the door, breaking the locks open. And when they went inside, no one was there. No one was there. Only these carved forms. Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. Incomplete forms, as we see them now. If you would have been there for the whole time, maybe they would have been complete. But they were somewhat incomplete. And Indradumna was a little bit disturbed, upset. What happened? What have I done? What have I done? They're not complete. But then the Lord came to him in a vision and told him that no, you should worship me like this. You should worship me like this. So from that time, from Satya Yuga, and actually it's an eternal pastime of the Lord, Jagannath has been worshipped. Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Shrirashan, Chakraju. Time is flying. So, now the original history of Jagannath. So, we know that the pastimes of Krishna are eternal. 5,000 years ago, he manifested on this earth planet and performed his pastimes in Vrindavan, Mathura and Dwarka. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his pastimes are also eternal. 500 years ago, he manifested here, performed his pastimes in Navadvip Dham, traveled around all of Bharatvarsh, coming to Vrindavan, South India, everywhere. But his pastimes are eternal. Sri Ram's pastimes are eternal. And how often does Krishna appear in this material world? Once every 8,640,000,000 years. Means once in a 24-hour cycle of Brahma. Brahma's 24-hour cycle. For perspective, one of Brahma's seconds is 100,000 of our human years. So, I'll let you do the calculations yourself. So the pastimes of the Lord are eternal and they're happening in every universe and they're also happening eternally in Aprakat, transcendental, Dwarka, Vrindavan, Ayodhya, Vaikuntha Dham. So, once upon a time, Narada Muni went to Dwarka. And there he created some little stir. The queens of Dwarka, they were very concerned and even a bit upset about what's going on. No matter how much they were serving their beloved Lord, Krishna, their husband, Dwarkadish, Krishna, still in the night he would weep, he would cry, and his pillow and bed would become wet with his tears as he was crying out, Hey Radhe, Lalite Vishake, calling out for the Brajbasis, calling out for his gopis, and weeping so much in his sleep, and they were so concerned. So a special arrangement was made that Rohini Maya, who is Vishuddha Brajabasi, her heart is always saturated in the mood of being a Brajabasi, always in Vrindavan mood. She witnessed all of the Braj pastimes of Krishna, and so she was deputed to tell the queens of Dwarka about the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan and why he is weeping and feeling so much separation for them. The greatness of their love that keeps him bound to them, no matter what. So as she's describing, she knew that Krishna's nature is wherever his glories are being chanted, immediately he will come to that place. So she positioned Subhadra at the doorway and ordered, don't let Krishna enter no matter what. Krishna and Balaram, Baladev and Krishna, Dwarkadish, will come to this place immediately. Don't let them enter no matter what. And then she began explaining the highest moods of love.
Why not to let them in?
Of the gopis for Krishna. Why not to let them in? Because it would bring Krishna into an inconsolable state if he were to hear this. If he were to hear this guitar, it was so deep and heartfelt Krishna would have lost consciousness and would have completely only been pining for Vrindavan. And of course, this did happen. So, Rohini Maya, she's the mother of Baladev Prabhu. She began telling the 16,108 queens about the love of the Braja Gopis, especially, about the moods of Vrindavan, and about how their one-pointed love, ekantic love for Krishna, because of its one-pointedness, that is why he is so controlled. They all have their palace, they've got Krishna, but they also have 10 sons, 1 daughter, their extended families, so many others. So their love is divided in so many ways. But the gopis of Vrindavan, although they might have these family members around, still their mind and heart is exclusive and one-pointed to Krishna. And for this, Krishna can never repay them for their love and affection. He becomes subservient to them. And he himself falls at their feet, begging for their shelter. Napareham nirabadya samyujam. We see how he has taken his dukul and he has come and he's petitioning them in a very humble way for their kripa, their mercy. Especially that of Srimati Radhika. So as Rohini Maya is telling this very beautiful but very deep and heartfelt katha, at that time Krishna is sitting in his courtroom, Dwarkadish, and he can't concentrate, he can't think, his heart is being pulled. So what's going on? He needs to go, he needs to leave. And Baladev Prabhu is coming with him. Krishna, Dwarkadish and Baladev, they come toward the door. And that time Subhadra stops them. No, you cannot enter. Rohini Maya said no. But they could hear what was being spoken through the door. How Rohini Maya is glorifying the mood, the love of the gopis for Krishna. And at that time, Rohini Maya was becoming so overwhelmed with speaking about the moods of love and separation for Krishna, of the gopis of Braj, that she herself was fainting and falling unconscious. At that time, just hearing this, Dwarkadish, Krishna, Baladev and Subhadra, they began to experience all transcendental symptoms on their body, ashtasatvik bhavs. Ashtasatvik bhavs are such that, as we hear in the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his pastimes, how sometimes his arms would elongate and become disjointed, and sometimes they would come in like a tortoise. How he would jump up in the air and crash to the ground. How his body would be trembling, the hairs of his body standing on end. His tears would be squirting out. Within 20 feet, anyone in front of him would be drenched by his tears. What kind of transcendental manifestations these ashtasatvik bhavs are. So, Krishna, Baladev and Subhadra began, as they were hearing this beautiful katha, their bodies began to experience these transformations. And it said that they began melting in prema. We also know of another history, where Radha and Krishna at Prem Sarovar, feeling this Madanakya Mahabhav, melted in prema and became Prem Sarovar. So in the same way, this Krishna, Dwarkadish Krishna and Baladev and Subhadra began melting in prema. Like Gurudev was explaining that his fingers were entering inside, his arms were entering inside, his face began to lose its shape. His eyes were becoming wide open with astonishment, hearing the glories of the gopis' love and the feeling of their separation. And a smile manifested on his face that stretched from ear to ear. And the same happened with Baladev Prabhu and Subhadra. As they were listening to this beautiful Harikatha, how attractive is the Harikatha of Krishna, that Krishna himself melts upon hearing this Harikatha. That's why he can't reside in Vaikuntha, he can't reside in the hearts of the yogis. When his pure devotee is speaking about him, he must come to that place. How attractive is his Harikatha. So they manifested these amazing, partially melted forms, melted in love and affection. And at that time, then Rohini Maya, she fell unconscious, and then they were able to gradually resume their forms, their original forms. Because she had stopped speaking, she fell unconscious due to this ecstatic love. So at that time, then Narada Muni requested that may you always be manifest in these forms which you manifested, these melted forms of love and affection. May you always be manifested in these forms, so that your devotees can always remember these sweet pastimes, why you have taken these forms. They took those forms in the mood of separation and astonishment, in the loving moods of the Brajavasis, especially the Brajagopis, for Krishna. So these forms are being worshipped eternally in Puri Dham, Jagannath Puri Dham.
Anyone wants to read more of the embankment of separation?
Yes. So if anyone wants to read more about these kathas, you can read the Embankment of Separation from Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj.
And also Gurudev has it in the Rath Yatra
Yes,
book.
and our Gurudev has it in his Rath Yatra
But
book.
specifically this one, Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj describes very beautifully.
Yes, and this is also related to the pastime of Nava Vrindavan, the original New Vrindavan, which was made in Dwarka. But now we will come to the Rath Yatra pastimes, because we don't have much time. So, every year there's a festival of the chariots. Ratha Yatra means the festival of Rath, festival of the chariots. And what is this? This happens only once a year for 9 or 10 days. Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra leave the main temple in Jagannath Puri Dham and go to Gundicha temple. Yesterday we spoke about the cleaning of the Gundicha temple, what it represents. But now we understand. Krishna is coming. Baladev is coming. Subhadra is coming. Why? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us the deeper understandings of the moods of Ratha Yatra. Most people who go there, they go there because they've heard, if you pull the chariot, if you pull the ropes, then you will go to Vaikuntha. If you are crushed by the wheel and you die, immediately you will manifest in a four-armed form and you will attain liberation. But we just said, Navayache Rajyam Nachanakanakamanikya Vibhavam. No, Vaishnavas don't pray for liberation. Vaishnavas only pray for service to the Lord and association with His devotees, in whatever situation.
Like Raghunath Goswami wanted to kill himself.
Yes. So Raghunath Das Goswami also, he thought, in deep separation from the Vaishnavas, I want to give up my life. He wanted to jump off Govardhan or enter into Jamuna and give up his life. And Sanatan Goswami said, hey, he said to him, if it was that easy to attain Krishna Prem, don't you think we all would have done that by now? And then Sanatan Goswami narrated to Raghunath Das Goswami what Mahaprabhu told him in Puri. Because Sanatan Goswami felt so bad, he had had sores and boils and pus oozing from his body. But Mahaprabhu understood that he's completely transcendental. He's not doing any sinful activities, but externally some gross things are apparent on his body. Mahaprabhu immediately embraced him upon seeing him, completely overlooking any of these external anomalies. Sanatan Goswami felt so ashamed. What have I done? Just by being in the presence of Mahaprabhu, I have made aparad and he has touched this horrid body. I should just end my life. So he decided that he would jump underneath the wheels of Jagannath's chariot. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew what was in the mind of Sanatan and told him the same thing. Really? If it was that easy to attain Krishna Prem, we would have all done that by now. So maybe you can attain to Vaikuntha, you can have your four-arm form, but Krishna Prem, Braja Prem, it's not so cheap, not so easy. So he told Sanatan like this, and Sanatan shared that with Raghunath Das Goswami. So Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaja explained that this Ratha Yatra festival has no mundane sentiment to it. What is this Ratha Yatra festival? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Krishna, but tasting the moods of Srimati Radhika. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would see Jagannath, he did not see the Lord of the universe. He saw Kadachit Kalinditata Vipina Sangita Taralo Mudaviri Nari Vadana Kamala Shvada Madupa Ramashambhu Brahma Marapati Ganesha Chikaparo Jagannatha Swami. The first two lines, sorry. And then Bhuje Se Devenum Shirishishiti Picham Katitate Tukulam netrante sahachara kataksham viratate Sara Srimad Vrindavana Vasati Lila Parichayo Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatme Rasanandi Radha Sarasabapur Alingana Sukho. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw. He becomes happy upon embracing the form of Srimati Radhika, which is like a cool pond. This Krishna who has a peacock feather in his hair, who's wearing yellow clothes, who's casting sidelong glances upon his gopis, who's always residing in Vrindavan on the banks of Jamuna and performing so many sweet pastimes. This Jagannath, who is that Jagannath? Mahaprabhu didn't see Jagannath. Rather, he, in the path of Srimati Radhika, saw her Prananath, Sakshat Brajendra Nanda, Krishna of Vrindavan, the son of Nanda Maharaj, her own Prananath. Seto Parananatha Ainu. This form of Krishna. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be in the temple of Jagannath, Srila Gurudev explained that he would stand in such a way that he was not able to see Baladeva and Subhadra, only he was able to see Jagannath because he was in the mood of Srimati Radhika seeing her beloved Brajendranandan Shyamasundar, Krishna of Vrindavan. This is a speciality. Now when Jagannath is moving down the road, what is the meaning of this? Actually, all of those who are pulling Jagannath, they're pulling Krishna back to Vrindavan on the chariots of their heart with the ropes of their love and affection. They're pulling Krishna back to Vrindavan. This represents the mood of the gopis when they all went to Kurukshetra. At that time, just the other day, we had a solar eclipse. It was said to be the same solar eclipse which happened. And it was very similar to that Kurukshetra solar eclipse. The gopis had gone there and they met with Krishna privately. Everyone knew that they were there and they were trying to block them, that they should not have any. All the Brajavasis went there and all of the Dwarkavasis were trying to block the Brajavasis. They did not want Krishna to remember Vrindavan. And the Brajavasis were telling Krishna, you should forget this. You should put down your crown. You should put down all of your things. Here's your flute. They gave him his flute, which Mother Yashoda had kept.
Just what Jiva Pamana just proved, just the bottom one.
Yes. They gave him, do you want me to read this?
Well, after you speak that, I think this is exactly what you're about to say.
So they gave him Krishna's flute, what Mother Yashoda kept. In Dwarka, Krishna does not have a flute and does not wear a peacock feather. This is told very distinctly in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Dwarkadish Krishna does not wear a peacock feather. Neither does any of the other avatars. Only Krishna of Vrindavan wears a peacock feather. So, this has been reconciled beautifully by Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. If you want to know more about why Nrsingadeva is wearing a peacock feather, or Matsya is wearing a helmet and a peacock feather, then you can research what Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj said to reconcile this. It's very beautiful. But simply stated, Keshava Drita Narahari Rupa Keshava Drita Matsya Sharira. So, Krishna himself has manifested this pastime. So they were saying, forget all of this Dwarka Bhav and everything and come back to Vrindavan with us. And they were trying to inspire him that you should come with us. So bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan on the chariot of their hearts with the ropes of their love and affection. This is the meaning of the Ratha Yatra festival. Now somehow in the West it became switched around where they put Jagannath first, then Subhadra in the middle, then Baladev in the back. But traditionally in Puri, actually Baladev goes first, then Subhadra, then Jagannath. And there's a reason for that. A couple of reasons. One, the gopis cannot meet with Krishna comfortably in the presence of Baladev Prabhu. Baladev Prabhu is Krishna's older brother. They would refer to him as Tauji. Tauji is also like Guru. Baladev is also like Guru. Which means you give so much respect and you put your head, you lower your head and you do not engage in any intimate pastimes. So, any wife of your younger brother would not show affection traditionally to her husband in front of his older brother. This would be considered a sign of disrespect. So even when Krishna is going to the forest in the morning with Baladev, Baladev walks ahead. He goes ahead knowing that Krishna wants to meet with the gopis. So, Baladev Prabhu is going first. Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj explains that this is Guru Tattva. First, Guru. And by the mercy of Guru, then Subhadra. Subhadra means supremely auspicious. What is supremely auspicious? She's the personification of Bhakti. So by the mercy of Guru, one awakens their Bhakti. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. What is Bhakti? Bhakti will bring you the service of Krishna. So by the mercy of Baladev Prabhu and Subhadra, then one can have the mercy of Krishna.
Also, Baladev knew that because he had already previously been to Vrindavan, if he said Krishna is coming, they wouldn't believe him. Oh, you already said he would come very soon, and it's been so long. And then Subhadra said, but if I come, and if I tell them I'm a woman, they'll believe me.
Oh. Did you hear that? So, because she said they'll be able to, they'll see that I can empathize with their hearts. They will believe me that if I'm telling that Krishna is coming. Because Baladev previously went. So Baladev is coming ahead, then Subhadra, then Jagannath. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's in the mood of Srimati Radhika, dancing around the chariot of Jagannath. Sometimes behind. When he would go behind, because he is seeing from the bhava Srimati Radhika, Krishna of Vrindavan, and testing. Do you remember me? Do you forget me? Have you forgotten me? And he would go behind, and then Jagannath would stop. And no matter how many people they had brought, how many elephants they brought to pull those chariots forward, the chariots would not move forward. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would just touch the chariot with his head, and then he would begin dancing in front. As he was dancing in front, Jagannath's eyes would open more wide. His smile would become bigger, and he would begin following after this Radha Bhav. This is the speciality of this Ratha Yatra festival. And all the devotees are enhancing this. Those who are within that mood, that bhav of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, are enhancing this mood of bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan. This festival of the chariots is no ordinary thing. This festival of the chariots is the mood of the gopis bringing Krishna to Vrindavan. So Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra are going to Gundicha Mandir, which represents Vrindavan in Sundarachal. This is the mood of sweetness, madhurya. How did this happen? Snana Yatra took place. I think Shyam Prabhu asked a question a few days ago, 2 days ago. Snana Yatra took place. First they give Jagannath chandan for weeks, well like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So much, and then they bathe him. So they've been cooling his body for a long time. And then he becomes sick. How can Jagannath, the Lord of the universe, become sick? Because he can do whatever he wants. He's the source of all headaches. He's the source of everything. He can be what he wants. Why does he become sick? So it said that Lakshmi Devi binds him. What? He says, Aham sarvasya prabhava. I'm the source of everything. I have proof from Bhagavad Gita. Everything emanates from me, and everything rests upon me like pearls are strung on a thread. Don't quote me on that. Okay. So he made this pastime of becoming sick. Lakshmi Devi kept him in her inner quarters for 15 days. And then he's going to his vacation home for 15 days. Vacation home is just down the road, just down Grand Road. At that time, the servants of Lakshmi Devi are not taking care. The Daitas, those other personalities, the descendants of Vidyapati. The descendants of Vidyapati and Lalita. There's two different descendants of Vidyapati. They're from the Brahmin side and from the other side. They're like the chefs of Jagannath. They're very expert in cooking for him. So they would take Jagannath. And the other pujaris, they don't have anything to do with that aspect for those 9-10 days. And Jagannath is accepting the worship of not only his pujaris, but of the entire world. And somehow we get to take part in that. So, they go to this Gundicha temple, which we already explained yesterday. So he manifested this sickness pastime so that he can go to his vacation home. But what is he doing in his vacation home? Rasanandiratha sarasapapur alingana sukho. Yes. So there he is relishing the association of Srimati Radhika and the gopis and the Brajavasis because it represents Vrindavan. This is where the gopis want him. They don't want him anywhere else. And the original Krishna, it is said in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Vrindavanam Parityajya Padamekam Nagachati, that the original Krishna never steps not even 1 foot outside of Vrindavan. So this Krishna has come to Vrindavan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is remanifesting this pastime, but injecting the world with the deeper understanding of what this Ratha Yatra festival is. Srila Prabhupada said, it is the sentiment of the gopis bringing Krishna to Vrindavan on the chariots of their hearts. This is what Ratha Yatra is. And this is the festival that he established all over the world to benefit us and to bring us into this mindset that we should bring Krishna to Vrindavan. Why? We are the servants. Gopi bhaktu padakamalayar dasa dasa anudas. That I only want to be the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, the beloved of the gopis. So being unable to tolerate the separation that the gopis are experiencing and the Brajavasis are experiencing from Krishna, then we somehow can pray to endeavor to be able to even render 1 drop of seva to those real Brajavasis, those gopis who are actually truly experiencing separation. And may we also, one day, by their mercy, awaken that mood in our hearts.
The second paragraph, just...
Okay. So these are Radharani's words. She is crying and Mahaprabhu is in the same mood. In the late Madhav, Rupa Goswami has described Radharani's prajalpa, which is like the delirium of a madman. Proshita Bhartrika Radha Milapa Katara. Radharani is lamenting for Krishna in the same way that a woman laments when her husband has left home and gone to a foreign land. Virahini Radha has become mad. Oh my dear Sakhi Lalita, such a high fever has come to me. I cannot describe it. This is Viraha Jvara, the fever of separation from Krishna. In this crying delirium, there is such a high degree of temperature that one becomes mad and his head reels. The doctor says, put an ice bag on his head. So, Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Oh, never mind, I don't have an internet connection. He's explained it very beautifully. You can read my Facebook post, it's there. This day is very, very important and very special for all Gaudiya Vaishnavas who are coming in the line of Mahaprabhu and especially coming in the line of Srila Rupa Goswamipada. That we want to attain this mood, we want to serve this, we want to serve those personalities who have this mood. Those are the gopis of Vrindavan. And that mood of bringing Krishna to Vrindavan, that Krishna should always be in Vrindavan. And that's actually where he wants to be. So come with us, forget this Aishwarya mood. Beautiful, beautiful passage I read from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur today, from an old Sajan Toshani magazine. I think Sajan Toshani was the source of the harmonist. And there he's explaining how Aishwarya Bhav creates such a distance. When the king is there, everyone has to bow their head. Everyone has to be in such a distant mood. Everyone has to have a mood of fear, awe, and reverence. And the gopis don't want to see that. They don't like to see it. They like to see that very free, carefree relationship that they had with Krishna, where they can joke with each other, laugh with each other, even abuse each other with so many words. And how much nectar Krishna feels upon hearing those abuses. When they say, hey, Lampachor, I'm going to tell your mother, hey, Yashoda Nandan, be careful. Like this, oh, Krishna becomes so happy. And he becomes completely controlled by the love of the Brajavasis. Completely controlled, that he becomes subservient to them. And this becomes his highest pleasure, to serve them. So this is the mood of all Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj explained regarding his Sri Vino Bihari Tatvashtakam, Radha Alingita Vigraham, that the mood of the Brajavasis, and especially those who are Radha Paksha, they don't want to see that Radhika or anyone is pining after Krishna, but they want to see that Krishna is desperately pining after Srimati Radhika. As a male peacock is trying to gain the attention of the peahen by opening his feathers and showing, look how beautiful I am, notice me, that Krishna should always be running after Srimati Radhika. This is the mood of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. This is the mood of those in the line of Rupa Goswami. And this is the mood of this festival of Rath Yatra, that Krishna should come to Vrindavan on the chariot of our hearts. Sri Jagannath Rath Yatra ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Panu Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Sri Jagannath Padare Subhadra Sudarshan Chakraju ki jai. One thing I have to say. Why Sudarshan? Sudarshan. Darshan means to receive the divine vision. And Su means special, splendid, super, or transcendental. So how can we receive the darshan of who Jagannath really is? By the mercy of his Sudarshan, who gives us that glimpse of who he is. And this is manifesting to us in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, and our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga. So Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Swami, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath. Jai Shachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Radha Ravi Hari Ki Jai, Radha Ravi Jai, Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Yatra Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Sudarshan Chakra Ji Ki Jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Thank you very much for being with us today, for giving me the opportunity to remember the beautiful pastimes of Jagannath Rath Yatra and all the beautiful katha from our Gurudeva and Guru Varga, and for engaging me in this beautiful seva every single day. I'm very indebted to all of you, and we look forward to being with you tomorrow. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe.
Hare Krishna.